Thoughts before I disappear into Asia again, for my friends and family just in case I really disappear. Diving is more than just putting on your dive gear and hitting the water running. Sadly, in today's dive world the old ways have been lost, and with it we have lost some valuable tools that make diving a safer activity. Planning a dive as well as the review can make diving more social as well. The logging of dives tends to be forgotten too. I failed to log, I am sure, thousands of dives. Why? Well, after we log so many dives as a recreational professionals, we stop logging dives because once we hit 200 dives logged, that is all we need to prove that we are capable divers. But are we really capable? There are many reasons to continue this logging process even if it is just a notebook with your times, dates and depths. This I will discuss in more detail. The plan. The dive plan is such an important part of diving. A plan is more than a dive briefing. The brief is something done just before you go diving. It starts with some thought given to your dive site. Even if you have done this site 1000 times, someone on your dive team may not have done this site before. This is where you can draw it out or pull a map of the site. Review the depth. Pull the old RDP out. Regardless of the use of the computer, it is always nice to check your limits just in case the computer fails. If you have used your RDP prior to the dive, your dive will not have to be aborted provided you have a way to keep time. Review the site itself. Explain the dangers that the site contains. Not only will it bring the dive team together socially, but it will build confidence in less experienced divers and ensure that the dive is a safe dive. There are other reasons you should make your dive plan and write it out, and that will depend on the purpose of the dive, and there always should be a purpose of a dive. A respectable diver has a purpose. Even if it is for fun dive, we should not just be jumping in the water only just for fun. Diving is, and always should, be an educational experience. Not just fun. Back to the plan. Let us say that you are not diving with a group, or it is just you, maybe you, and your friend. Regardless, making a plan such as where you're going to dive, specific location should be part of this. The approximate time of the dive and expected return. Lastly, the purpose. Even if you just put fun, then this plan should be given to someone that will be informed of your dive. Let them know about when you're going to return. That way, should you not return, someone will know where to find you, even if it is just to retrieve your body. But what if you have surfaced and need assistance? If you provided a plan, this could help your rescue with items that might be important to your rescue. Now we get to the part we forget, a time before computers, a time where we were all just learning. In this time we have learned some valuable lessons. This is the reason that should you decide to touch something, be sure you are qualified to do so. This is important as one would not want to interrupt Mother Nature at her best. We should all be more concerned about sharing diving. Today, with organizations like POTI, SSI, and all the others, it has become more about fun or an adventure sport. Diving should never be about fun. It is a serious choice and comes with many risks that most seem to be never informed of, or they were informed but they also were drunk the night before. I feel there should be more of a distinct difference between someone who is a what I call fun diver, a resort diver, and an open water dive. Let us be realistic. How many instructors start their dives with? I only had 5 dives in KOH. Let us face it, there are divers and then there are divers, and there should be a better way to define what you are. Next, back to the sport. Sport diving implies that one is in a competition, and this is how I felt as I restabilized myself to PADI watching people learn to dive. See, I took a dive master class back in high school in the 1980s. Things worked different back then as the education was free, and it was POTI. The real difference I seen was, pump them out faster, and get more of their money. SSI itself seems like it requires a diver to become more of a diver. They have better info as you can access it online, and the information, PADI books, are free. So, if I were to ever support a dive organization again, it would be SSI. But reality is I lost my faith in organized diving. I am completely shocked to see that money is more important than the ocean or the earth itself. I plan to return to Dauin and work with the local government in any way I can, Take from my pocket and give to the kids I met, and more, as I have given more to PADI over the past year, thousands of dollars, and I learned next to nothing, if anything. They compete for who can do more dives to sell more dives, they make it a game and mock diving. This I can only say for the factories of the world. Each country and major dive locations have them, as I have witnessed on my travels these past 2 years. Diving is too expensive for someone who just want to go diving, and prefers to just go and not be pushed along and pulled from the water after 45 minutes, after thousands of dives. One should get some sort of respect at a dive shop. Not some snot-nosed kid like 1/3 my age, with 12 dives, trying to compete with me. Then we get to the water and some dive master teams me up with the weakest diver, so I get to babysit. Aim is to stop these practices in Dauin. What I witnessed is government approved, PADI generated contract slavery. It was sick to see someone on a 25-year contract for a week's worth of pay wholesale to a dive shop yet. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. I feel shame that I gave money to such organization that allows this and encourages it. This I will change. How? I do not know. Who will help me? I do not know. I will find a way, we will wish in the barrel. I have one honorable man on my side, Rodrigo Alanano, JH, and his friends. We start there. I bring this set of gear I have here with me in Hawaii, and then we will have 2 sets, the right way. One-on-one learning. I hope I never get away from that ever again. Too much risk. Why? For money? I will and never have been about money, and now I know how PADI does it, and I will do it exactly the operate. I sleep well tonight, as I had the greatest dive adventure, aside diving with people who should know better and guided by a DMT, aside that, great. But most of all, I know I go back to the Philippines with a plan, a few things written out, and just must ask for advice. I am sure the help will pay my way, as it always in life seems to happen. So, if I do not make it to the Philippines, then let people know I went for a purpose. Thad.